We were supposed to do it on April, and we all know what happened. Like we had a very tough time. Most of us were supposed to relocate. We most of you are developers. Not too sure whether you have real laptops. Your office would have given you desktops. You would have carried to your hometown. People moved out. I understand there were a lot of challenges in terms of internet, the bandwidth. We don't have the office set up at home, right? So those were the challenges, and people were not settled, right? So that's where like we decided let's not do the code camp or the SME Tech Hangout in April. So so we decided we'll move it slightly a bit in May. Reason being, like you guys are now settled, or I call it like the new norm, what we call. So and that's where I thought like no, it's good time to do this in May. Another reason for moving it to May is like April is go lives in India, India and Sri Lanka, like most of the countries in APJ financial year starts by April, and we'll have a lot of development and delivery pressures as well. That's why we thought let's not do it in April, so we moved it to March, right? Sorry, moved it to May, right? So and I see like a good response. If I see the chat window, if I see the participant window, I have more than 100 plus participants, and it is a spread across multiple countries. I see people from different countries here in this chat in the participant panel, which shows like no, we are really committed to SAP's vision of intelligent enterprise. Right? We have an exciting topic today on RPA. If you could ask me, like, no, with this COVID, what is the new way businesses are looking at, right? So, out of my experiences with respect to this last 2 to 3 months, having interacting with partners, having interacting with prospects, what I feel is once the lockdown is over, once the COVID, once we get rid out of the COVID, right, or even if the COVID is sustaining, so what are the two interesting stuffs which every business needs? If you ask me for that, I would say like two things which are desperate for every business. One being RPA, robotic process automation, where like after COVID, people are supposed to ensure social distancing, meaning which two people cannot sit next to each other and do a working, right? And people will not have access to their offices, right? Under such circumstances, RPA plays a very significant role. So that is the first insight what I got from a lot of prospects and customers whom I interacted with. Of course, I interact with a lot of partners as well. The second area of interest, what I find, again, this is my personal view with my interactions with partners and prospects and customers. The second area, what I find is IoT, right? And if you could look back to our first call where we did the kickoff, we have already had this in place. Like the first call, what we did, the code camp was on document extraction, and the next call which we do today would be on RPA, and I think the subsequent call which we do a couple of months after this would be on IoT, right? So which means we are delivering the content what is needed for the business and the industry, right? So I think I'm really excited to hear it from Yatsea and Jacob. And I'm sure like you guys will have a fantastic experience for next 4 hours. The structure would be same. After Yatsea running through the pieces, the RPA steps, we'll break out. So you will do the development within your teams, and we will be here till 4 o'clock India time, or maybe 5 o'clock. And once you complete it, you will make a small video and upload it into the Slack tool. If you're not able to do it today, let's see the progress. If it needs, like last time, what happened? Like we extended it to the next day, wherein we slotted Yatsea and Jacob for 2 hours, where they solved your issues and you were able to make the video and upload it into the Slack. That's the same structure. Jacob, you will touch base on the blog, right? On the leaderboard blog, right?
Yep, that's right.
Right. Fine. So that's it from my end. I think I'm excited, and I expect like all you guys are also excited to know and play with RPA. Yeah, over to you, Jacob. Thank you.
Welcome to our second edition of the SME Tech Hangout, and it's organized by Yatsea, Sridharan, and myself. So today is actually our second session, and the agenda for today, as Sridharan has mentioned, right, for the next 4 hours. So please block your time. This is something which we have organized and put together. Hopefully, it will be very beneficial for you. Basically, later on, the second topic, I will walk through on the IE for 2020 and what we have achieved since last year. Also on the update on the development challenge. Okay, then we also have invited one of our partners from South Korea, BSU1, to actually share about their experience on the RPA. Okay, and then also give you all some use cases and better idea of RPA, how is it being used, right? Then we basically open up code camp sprint by Yatsea on the SAP's iRPA. Right, then we'll also have some question Q&A open up, and then we'll proceed on to some quizzes and lucky spin. So I'll just move on to the next topic. So from the first session, we actually had like 48 teams registered. Then as of today, for the second session, we already have like 79 teams. So really, thank you so much for your support and registration on this initiative. So just a recap on the topics and the scheduled plan, as briefly mentioned by Sridharan earlier on, is so in the subsequent week, we actually share more on the Internet of Things or IoT. Then here are some other sessions that have been planned also. So after this session, I will send out the slide also. And so if there's anything you would like to learn further that's out of this list, feel free to write to us, and we will actually love to also get it organized. And if you'd like to share some knowledge also, feel free to let us know. We would love to host you. Okay, so just a summary from the first session that we have ran on in February. So what happened is we actually work on a topic where SAP released the new AI business services, mainly targeting on the document processing, or rather document information extraction, right? So, and then we actually have Innova from India to actually share on the deep learning topic, or OpenCV, specifically for the retail industry. Right, so if for those who have missed the session, you can click on the link, right, to actually review the first session itself, right? Then the teams actually work beyond the scheduled time for the first session. If you realize time got extended, Yatsea worked until very, very late just for the tech team. So then we actually extended to the next day. So it was really a very fruitful session, I would say. And then big congratulations to our teams who have actually completed the code camp in the first session. Namely Ecam Solutions, Infinix, Vestrix, Intercom, and Gain Insights. So over here is a video that actually shows the solution. So I'll just quickly walk you all through like some of the solution. So as mentioned, right, it's an AI business services on document information extraction. So teams have actually worked on the following technology and integrated with B1 very quickly within like 2 days, and extended a few days to a week. Right, so you have integrated to B1 and also like an add-on using SDK. So one of the partner also extended it out to a hybrid SAP Fiori application deployed on mobile, which later you will see further. Right, and a web application interface as well as a Windows console interface. Okay, so this is just a teaser for you. So later on, please feel free to revisit this topic if you want to get more ideas or get more inspiration how to actually use these AI business services. Okay, great. From the first session, we actually had 115 participants with about 47 partners actually joined the Hangout, right? And then these are the market unit breakdown. For any communication news and updates, right, we actually have our SEEDx Slack channel, right? So this is actually like a community chat group where we talk about various topics, and the code camp teams are also organized inside here. If there's any help that you need, we can also feel free to post your questions or to discuss on various topics inside here. Our innovation virtual summit coming up. So as all of you all know, the summit was cancelled due to the COVID situation, but we are actually converting it to the virtual summit on the 8th June, that week itself. So wait for the official email in this regards. Right, so this is just a snapshot of the schedule on the topics that we'll be running. Basically, some fonts that is highlighted in red are the ones that we are running locally, and some other topics that is run globally. Okay, so just something to take note is we'll be showcasing the SEEDx Development Challenge for the finalists. So feel free to join in, and then we'll see some ideas is being presented by our finalists as well. All right, and also some IE customer stories. Partners have been successful developing an IE solution, and also on the benefits of adopting service layer on the session on the day 5 itself. Before we move on to the next part, we would like to actually highlight on the Wall of Fame. So to improve the participation, we are giving out points. So this is to actually encourage everybody to participate in the SME Tech Hangout, and also some of the activities that we are running. So feel free to feedback to us if you have any ideas to improve your whole learning experience. And we actually have like a leaderboard, all-time winner, right, that is constantly updating based on the every session itself, right? So just to elaborate my point, if later on you actually see in the blog that I've put it in, and we are actually organizing the teams and update for every participation or every activities that you have done here, and also a recap of all the sessions that we are planning for this year. Okay, so as you can see, I just put in the session here. So bookmark this webpage. Okay, so next part I will share more about the intelligent enterprise, what we have done in 2019, and also what's coming up for this year, how you can actually participate. So in 2009, right, we started to organize it in a more structured approach where we have partners to roll in their solution. So all in all, we actually have 43 active projects, and out of it, there's 21 partner innovation story that either come up with a POC or a minimal viable product. Okay, then out from the 21 projects or the stories itself, we actually have 7 live customers adopting the IE solution itself, right? So you can see the breakdown of the number of roll-in projects and also the number of partner innovation story by countries, and also based on the which platform that you are actually using or the solution is being adopted on. And it's, as you can see, mainly is using on other cloud platform like Google and other and on the on-premise or others cloud platform itself, right? And in terms of the number of tech adoption based on the projects, you can see the main technology adoption is actually utilizing machine learning and also based on the IoT scenario. So these are the 2 hot topics that has been adopted based on the nature of your projects itself. Okay, so I'll not go so much in details over here. And this is just a snapshot of some IE solution that I randomly just pick out. So there's no any sequence of order. So it's pretty interesting. On the left-hand side, that Direct BTI from Philippines have actually explored all technologies, and they actually implement it in one of the marketing events, and it's really very well received by the partners and customers in terms of like adopting the solution for a specific use case, and they gamified the whole approach. So that's pretty cool. And the solution at the top, more on image recognition, that's being used on deep learning, developed or created by DMS Pro on Visibility Pro. And then on the right-hand side is more from GC, Greater China, our partner, MTC. They actually developed a solution for a smart wine growing, basically to monitor the health of the pigs in the pig farm agriculture, right? And then on the right hand side is developed by MB. So quick put to light and pick to light solution on a warehouse management solution itself. Okay, and then on the corner here is a meter reading that's using OCR and STR developed by AppTech. Right, it's just a very quick way for real estate management to actually monitor the meter reading to automate that process. And the center here is from ISS on developing a chatbot to actually cater more for their salesperson on the go to actually inquire more information quickly, right? And then the bottom here is actually from Innova that's using facial recognition for the retail industry. I think you have already seen, for those who have joined our first session, they actually share more on their use case, right? So, and on the right hand side here, bottom is developed by B1 Solutions from Indonesia for integrating with a point of sale system, using facial recognition to recommend items and stuff like that. So these are just some snapshots, right? So just now, as mentioned by Sridharan, we are actually entering into a really very interesting economy, or rather a new reality, so to say, in view of the COVID situation, right? Like things are going to change. Are we going to go back before the COVID situation, right? The answer is we might or might not. But based on that, right, you will realize in these few months of all the happenings, there's a lot of industry actually being impacted on most, where you can see on the left-hand side, especially in retail, travel, as you all know. So, and then discrete manufacturing and in the space of consumer products as well. Basically, where there's a lot of human interaction, you know. So these are a few industry that has been impacted the most. But what you realize if you see in the other industry, on the other hand, on the right-hand side, where there's actually a surge of the revenue increase, especially in the retail space, where businesses actually digitalize their whole channel to reach out to more customers or even a different segment of customers. So you see Shopify, if you realize their share price also increased as a surge, even in this situation right now. right? And then you can see in the transportation, because of the social distancing, this transportation solution is being adopted instead to actually deliver goods, right? And then of course life sciences on the vaccine and all. So with that in mind, right, what are some ideas that you can think of that will actually benefit this industry? So taking towards the business aspect, right? As you know, B1 is not just only supporting the business with an ERP system, but what we are trying to implement is the complementing with an IE solution that will actually help this industry further. So take some time out and think about it. And in every crisis, there's always an opportunity. It's like a quote from Albert Einstein. So this is something which you can take back and think about it and to some brainstorm ideas in your team. In a way, adopting the right platform is also very important. How you can actually innovate, extend, and integrate, building on top of the business, and then so having a digital experience. You may still do all of this on premise, but there are of course greater benefits when you actually extend it to the cloud, where you can further standardize, create package on those solutions and reach out to wider audience, wider customers, right? And here I'm not talking about just SAP cloud platform, but it's in general. As you realize, all the big players out there like AWS, Microsoft, and Google, they're also developing their own cloud platform, which you could also exploit to actually utilize it for your own benefits, right? So I would say digital experience is the key moving ahead now, where actually it will actually help to protect the business and also allow the business to innovate and to extend further. So with that, the business will be able to achieve efficiency and agility in their business. From business perspective, comparing to IT perspective, right? In terms of, as mentioned earlier on, what are some of the competitive advantage of having IE solution on a platform? But from the IT perspective, that's more relevant to us on for your tech lead, for your technology team. So with that, you are able to achieve a decoupling of your solution standards and also integration with SAP, no longer tightly integrated with B1 or by design. So with that, you're able to achieve having quicker extension from there, where you can deploy to multiple ERP systems, so to say. So isn't that even better, where you can extend it to other solutions, right? And then you can also renovate your existing add-ons or partner package solutions to make it cloud ready or cloud native. In the big picture, extensibility with the integration with SAP Cloud Platform could also be another approach. So in this area, I'll actually share a little bit more on the SAP end, like what are some of the benefits that you can achieve by having that integrated with SAP itself. So the road to IE with SAP are as such on the 4 different pillars, where you can build intelligent apps using some of the cloud services. I think most of y'all have some hands-on from last session and also working towards this session on prerequisite, where you realize you have already went through or touched on SAP. And also in our workshops for the past 2 years we have been running, right, we actually work on some of the apps developed on SAP itself. SAP is none other than just a digital platform, right? But there's a lot of areas that we can work on. Like, for example, today we'll touch on the iRPA, which is on the intelligence part. And then subsequently, we'll also touch on IoT. And last session, we actually touched on the AI area, where you can actually fuse those services to your application, right? And in the area of application development, you can also extend it out to further services. There's like mobile services and stuff like that. So also in the area of like analytics, there's like embedded or predictive analytics services that you can use. Okay, so just a few numbers for you to take a look. Like as of 2019, right, on SAP, there's actually already built 50 plus enterprise apps by SAP as a subscription. So means you can just subscribe to it and utilize it like a template to use the solution as it is, right? But on top of that, there's also partners have developed enterprise application building and reselling it through SAP itself. Okay, so as of date, we have like 13,000 customers and 1,003 partners on that. So just a roadmap on the SAP data center, where we actually have servers that in APJ region over here. Okay, great. So after hearing what SAP is about and in the area of what can you innovate further, and based on what we have achieved in the IE 2019, right, you can see the numbers and what are some ideas you are thinking of for which industry. We have put together a program this year called the Lighthouse Accelerator program, lab in short, to accelerate your adoption journey. So to keep this simple, this is just a journey, how typically we have planned out to identify and also to roll in your solution, where Yatsea and myself and Sridharan, we actually will see what other resources or support you require. Maybe you do not have any ideas to start to develop on IE. So what can you do, right? Very simple. So on the left bottom, you can see is just some ideas that you can check it out, like based on the various challenges that we have initiated, right? You can see what are some of the development that has been done before. And also we have a IE playbook that globally we have put together, which later I'll elaborate more, right? So once you have an idea, brainstorm it. It could even be a valid customer use case. Pilot the solution with your customer, or you can even ideate with it. So I believe you all have already went through a design thinking workshop. That's something which you could use to brainstorm with your customer and then come up with a solution. That's when you start to develop your IE solution. So prior to that, I've actually put together a structured way to register for your use case, right? And then the outcome, what we hope to achieve is to innovation story from you, so that we can monitor and to follow up with you constantly, and a partner success video, right? Being highlighted in our global playbook is a form of recognition of your effort, and also an awareness for globally where other partners could see your solution, right? And vice versa, right? We are able to see their solution. So let's say you have a question in mind that maybe you are still thinking about it, you are not ready to develop an IE solution, maybe because you're not ready, that's fine. What we have is a SEEDx development challenge where it's like a playground where you can actually develop your idea to test it out to see whether it works or not. Then we actually follow up with you. So at the end, what we hope to achieve, of course, is to have it being adopted by your customers, right? So when that is being done, the outcome is we hope to achieve is a success reference story where we actually share globally as well, and also a success video that you have done, right? So let's say then you have a new idea, you find a success, well, you can actually repeat the whole process again, right? So I'll just quickly show you like how the SME IE playbook looks like. Okay, so this is the IE playbook that is being done by Global, and it's basically a book where we gather all the solutions that has been developed globally. Let's say in the topic of AI and machine learning. So these are just various use cases that has been adopted or developed by our partners globally. Okay, and there's something which, let's say you want to get some ideas about it, you can further refer to this or to click to see more details on the solution itself.
Jacob, just to interrupt here, yeah, this is the page I wanted to talk. So, once you see like your success story is made available in this playbook, you can try to order a hard copy or a physical copy of this book, so that you can try to use this in your customer or prospect meetings. Like when you go to a prospect and when you want to prove that you are good, right? You can throw this book in front of the customer and say that this is what is the credential for as a partner your organization is. This speaks like it's a book which is compiled by SAP, and it's a book, a global book, right? The IE stories of partners across the world are published, and you can say like, this is what is the credibility of my organization. So that becomes a good, sales pitch vis-a-vis the competition.
Yep, thank you so much for highlighting that. So I've already received my book like within a few days. So even in this situation, I don't know how they do it, but it's really fast. I already gotten my hard copy, so I will encourage that. And I think end of the day, what customer wants to see is that SAP is ahead of innovation, right? So with this book, right, it also serve as a recognition, or rather an identity, that SAP B1 or by design, right, is something that for SMEs that has a innovation being infused into the solution. So this is something which you could actually use it to position it for your customers engagement, right? And then in the area of like SEEDx development challenge, which later I'll elaborate more, is that actually Yatsea and myself, we are running this for a few years already, and it's to be honest, for partners who have joined us before, it's nothing new. And I would say if you are still not sure what ideas you have, you can always refer back to the blogs over here, where you can see a lot of different solutions that's being developed for specific industry or specific technology. SEEDx Development Challenge from last year to this year, right? We actually kickstarted in this challenge. We focus on three main things: industry disruptor and digital trailblazer. and also sustainability innovation itself. From the start, we started like a few years back. We actually gained a lot of submissions, participation, and support from you partners. From 2017-18, we actually have like only 9 submissions, and then to 2018 and 19, we have like a total of 15 submissions. For the recent round, we actually have like 20 submissions from APJ. So we really want to take this chance on behalf of my team, Sridharan, Yatsea, and myself. We really want to thank you all partners who have actually contributed to the whole SEEDx development challenge. And as much as we learn from this whole experience, we hope that you have also gained something, learning experience from yourself and from your customers also on developing this solution. So we strongly encourage you to continue this spirit of innovation and to keep develop on these solutions itself. We will actually elaborate more in the virtual summit itself, but I just want to take this time to also highlight on the 14 honorable mentions as listed here, and also our 6 finalists from APJ, right? Namely from Direct BTI from Philippines, who has developed an object detection solution. So from Indonesia, PT-B1 has developed a facial recognition solution integrating with a POS solution. Right, and then as mentioned earlier on in some of the highlights, right, is DMS Pro has developed like Visibility Pro on object detection, AI deep learning on the image objects itself. Okay, then from Unicorps India, who has developed a solution on the pre-trained model to quickly identify documents, right? And then from Greater China, MTC on the smart swine growing solution to manage and monitor the health of the pigs agriculture farm. Right, and last but not least, we also have BSG1 from South Korea to actually develop RPA solution that they have itself, which later we invite them to share more about it. Right, so well done for everyone who have actually contributed to the SEEDx Development Challenge. With that, in this call, I would like to invite BSG1 to actually share more of their experience in the area of RPA. So I would like to invite Yoon Hee Cho from the RPA team to actually take over my presentation and to share more about AC for RPA solution.
Hello, thank you for making time to come here today. I'm Yoon Hee Cho, developer of C4RPA service. I was in charge of service development and management. Now then, I'd like to introduce you to our service, C4RPA. My presentation is divided into 4 parts: introduction, solution details, architecture, and demonstration of C4RPA. It will take about 10 minutes. There will be time for questions at the end. Let's start with a brief overview of C4RPA. C4RPA is a business process automation service. It enables computer programs, we call robots, to perform repetitive tasks in various industrial areas, including manufacturing, distribution, and inventory management, and so on. Anyone who's ever been in the company knows that too many simple repetitive tasks are exhausting. Their simpler repetitive tasks can diminish the company's productivity and also cause mistakes. Our goal was to automate these tasks to improve productivity and reduce human error. C4RPA has a really wide range of applications. It also can be applied rapidly by utilizing legacy systems, especially with systems that are well processed, such as SAP. It would be highly effective. Technology elements include SAP Business One, SAP HANA Studio, Automate One, AWS Cloud Service, OCR, and ICR, AI technology, machine learning. Automate One is the RPA solution we use. The 3 values proposed by C4RPA are innovation, stability, extensibility. C4RPA service is aimed to improve the whole business process across the board to enable our client to achieve office transformation beyond simple business automation. It can be applied to software centralized process without establishing a whole new systems or changing of legacy system or solutions. And it can be surely applied to SAP Business One, but also various third-party solutions or multiple business platforms, so that easily automate many processes. The advantage of SIP-RPA can be divided into three parts: increased work efficiency through repeated job substitution, increased employee satisfaction, and achieve work-life balance, and reduce cost and human error. Let's move on to the topic of solution details. First, acquire data through third-party solution for retail industry and modify the process with Excel, Word, and so on. Data is registered in SAP Business One through the service layer, and the results are sent by email. You can also import data from the database and use it for editing. Please take a look at the pictures on the screen. RPA system consists of RPA bot, RPA agent, and RPA manager. After the user accesses RPA manager from the PC, it can be centrally controlled. When you click the Run button in the RPA manager, data is collected using web surfing database and SAP. You can edit the collected data in Excel, OCR, AI, and you can register the edited data in SAP using the service layer or user interface. We plan to develop package-style SIP-RPA service so that it can be applied immediately to structured systems such as SAP. We are also preparing to apply SIP-RPA to more diverse industries by combining new technologies, such as AI and ICR. Let's watch a demo video that used OCR. That's bring us to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention. I'm open the question.
Could you explain which RPA tools are you using?
Automate one. Who made grid one?
I think, and let me take the question, why not automate B1 application? Because B1 application is, we build our own UI. You know, we have our own UI API, and I'm not very sure the automate one will be able to recognize. So that's the reason they're using the browser access in this case. I'm going to show you the same things as well. We have the same challenge with the SAP iRPA, which will not be able to properly recognize the B1 desktop application because we're having the B1 application, the UI, we have our own UI here.
Does the OCR actually works on the edge machine, or it connects to the cloud?
It connects to cloud.
Does the customer need to buy Automate One tool, or is it free?
Yes, the customer need to buy it.
Does it charge like a subscription basis, or?
There is two options.
Okay.
You can on-premise or subscription.
Okay, thank you. Can OCR read JSON technology or similar document input so that we put in another database level?
Yes, we can.
Can the OCR read a handwritten document?
Yes. We suggest the Google Tesseract engine for OCR.
Does Automate One or C4RPA, is it dependent on the internet, or can it be set up without internet?
We suggest set up in local network.
How many documents can be processed in an hour?
It depends on the document type. Normally 50 to 100. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your support to share your experience, and thank you everybody for your questions. It's really a very hot topic, it seems. So then the next segment, we will actually move on to invite Yatsea Lee, our solution architect for SMB for B1 and BYD, to actually share more with his exploration on SAP iRPA. So over to you, Yatsea.
Hello everyone, Yatsea from SAP here. I saw a lot of questions since people having a lot of interest on the RPA topic. And then for the next 1 hour, I would like to give you the SAP Intelligent Robotics Process Automation product from SAP to set the expectation. So I would give you an overview about what is an SAP RPA, and what is the component, what are the architecture, and what are the user mode, and then I think I hope my presentation also can answer some of the questions you've been asking. What have been able to run the job in the background, and then how been able to manage the volume and so on and so forth as well. And then what would be the architecture and what would be the useful use case. And thanks to the BSG1 team, and then Yun Chung Chap team has been present just now. But I will give you and then I will show you some live demo with by design and with business one, web client or something, or B1 test application I need using the B1 TC for that. All right, so and then first thought, so the RPA has become a very popular topic, especially for the RPA. The full name stands for the Robotics Process Automation, which has been able to help us to automate the repetitive, the very low value task, and like data entry, like you take the data from multiple systems like Excel, like the email, like the scenario you've been seeing. Okay, and then for us, for SAP iRPA, when I say iRPA, is stand for the full name Intelligent RPA here. So we're having two kind of a mode. The first one is the uncertainty mode. So uncertainty mode is fully automated. You can think about it's a digital worker. It's a digital worker, and then they can be scheduled to run in the midnight and to place the order from the Excel sheet or from another system without a human supervision or interaction in this case. And then the second mode is identity mode. So you can think about it's a digital assistant. We are working side by side with the human worker and then the digital assistant together. We in this case, and then in some case the human was just triggered by the menu in a certain process. And in a certain process, you will need in the workflow, you will need to some kind of a human interaction. For example, approve the drop, approve the sales price or something like that from this case, and then to work together, and then to automate the process to make the operational much more efficient in this case. Okay, so we have been able to support two modes: unidentified mode, identity mode. Okay, and what would be the in terms of the criteria? What would be the appropriate business process which can be fit for the automation by the RPA? So there's a few over here. So the one of the things is like the data, collect data, especially you have a multiple system, multiple data source, like the Excel, like email, or like the your ERP or business one by design, or WMS system, something. You have so much data source, and then you want like to consolidate the data and put back to the ERP or something like that. If you are used to do it manually, or if you used to do it manually and then repeatedly, like you place it order in the back office, or like the bank, like the internal reconciliation, or like the enter the time sheet and so on and so forth. Such kind of high volume data as well, which would be need to enter. Like some other use cases, like in the workflow, you have in the workflow, you have in the business process, approval process, and so on and so forth. Or you having the integration over the email, like they having like the vendor have a payment supplier invoice or payment advice has been coming from the email, and so on and so forth, which would have been also demoed by the BS team, one team as well, from the email or from the Excel. Or you're having the service ticket, you have a chatbot, and the chatbot has been and then they can be work together, the chatbot, the entry from the service ticket, service request from the chatbot, and then will be triggered the board to do the service procurement in the background in this case as well, which would be also good, especially you having as I said, you having multiple system, and then you would like to collaborate, work together across the organization, the whole organization for the flow in this case. And then last but not least, and then more importantly, for those kind of manual data entry and this kind of low value repeated task, we can have been able to automate. We can be accelerate by the digital assistant, by the bot in this case, and then which would be make the human more focused on a more high value task in this case, rather than to the lower repeated task in this case. And then as I said, the business value it's significant, and then you can see more use case from later on from the SAP website use case, and then to see the customer success story, where they can be able to improve, to automate by improved operation efficiency and then accuracy to reduce the human error by the tool in this case as well. And then as I said, there was two kind of a mode we has been able to support with the SAP iRPA. So the first mode is attendant mode, so which working as an assistant side by side with a human worker. And then in this case, mostly the board would be deployed into the workstation, in the desktop of the worker, and then they can be automated, maybe part of the process. In some, for example, the order to cash process. In some case, you will need to maybe human interaction, for example, approval, or human confirmation as in workflow. In some flow, in some step, which can be automated by the board, and then they work together with the human worker in this case. And another one is the digital worker, and then as an identity board, usually would be deployed on a server side, and then it can be the end-to-end automated for the whole process, and then it can be triggered by the menu, or it can be triggered by the scheduler in this case, and then without any further human interaction in this case. All right, so let's have a look at the solution overview. So there was three major components for the whole iRPA intelligence. So we have a cloud component. So this cloud component, you see the name here, Cloud Factory. So here was mainly for the system admin to orchestrate, to organize the resource, the job, the board, the agent, or the monitor, to organize the structure, the resource, whatever you're having in this case. And from the developer, for the developer perspective, okay, we need a developer to develop the board. Of course, they will need to record the board, and to maybe sometimes you need to having to write some code or something like that. We also have an SDK. You can interactive with different kind of application. Example, we can interact with the S4HANA. We have three predefined content. We have a store. We have SAP RPA store, and we have put this store end-to-end scenario have been recorded and then to the store, and then you can get it downloaded and get it deployed with zero coding. And then we also can work with the by design and then all other cloud solution. I didn't put business one here. Yes, we can have work with the web cloud, but we will not be able to work properly with the B1 transition application. I will show you in a live demo as well. And then in addition, of course, we also been able to connect to working with the Outlook, and we can read the email, we can write the email, and then we can attach the invoicing PDF or whatever, and then we can read the spreadsheet, write the spreadsheet, and the work template based on the bookmark and so on and so forth. And of course, we've also been able to connect to any kind of a web application and Windows application. I didn't listing everything here. One of the UI, like I was showing you later on as well. And we have the Develop Studio. That's for developer to develop the board, okay? And then we have the agent. So the agent is what can be deployed in the desktop as a system, and it could be deployed in the server. And these two components, if they are on-premise component, they need to have a Windows server, Windows desktop to install, okay? And then in the meantime, maybe you also spot here we have a Cloud Studio. Okay, and the Cloud Studio is we're still working in progress at the moment. So the Cloud Studio will be taking care of. You can do the most of things, especially for the web application. Okay, like it doesn't matter for the SAP web, SAP by design or S4HANA or another cloud application on cloud. Okay, we work in. They can design the board with the Cloud Studio. The Desktop Studio is something like you have a Windows Form application, Java application, or any kind of application which you can using this desktop one to develop the board on top of this one. All right, so just keep in mind we have three components: Cloud Factory, that was for the system administration, for the orchestration, for the monitoring, and for the system management, and then another one is for developer, and the other one is for the end user. Then we're having the running the board eventually in this case. All right, so and then let's have a look at the more by roles here. So as I said, we have a studio. So studio mainly is used by the developer or the consultant, and so in some case you can having the without coding, or in some cases you need some coding if you have some advanced interaction, advanced feature, something you will need to have something developer, okay, into doing so. And then you can create a project. You can create a project and design a project and record the application, and then you can build a package, and then you can have the package to import it, get it deployed to the cloud factory. So the cloud factory is where you can define what job to run and what resource you are using. You can having the hierarchy. You can have an environment. Inside one environment, and you can define the hierarchy. Okay, I having the QA group, and then I having machine A, B, C, D, E, F, and then I have production. I have a QA. I have production resource group, agent group, and then I've been able to manage. Okay, for the HR payroll process, I'm using this group for the payroll for the line of business, and then for the order processing, I'm using another group, and then they can be managed, and then they can be monitored in this case. So that's what will be the cloud factory, which is the a service hosting in the SAP Cloud Platform. All right, so that is the factory, and then basically the event, and eventually we are having another agent. So the agent was be in the end. The task has been running in the agent. Either the agent has been the execution, the runtime. Either they has been in a workstation in the desktop, or either want to be in a server. Okay, and this will be triggered by the cloud factory in this case to trigger or schedule the job and then get it deployed. Okay, you run this payroll process, you run this order processing for the group by group in this case. That's how you work together. So all right, so and just one more thing to share. All right, so it doesn't matter you have your business application, business one by design. They run on cloud. As for they run on cloud, or you have Azure, or you have AWS, or you have your own desktop, or it doesn't matter you're having the Windows application or SAP GUI or Java application. We will be able to recognize and then to connect and then the board with the tool in this case, and then again all of the package eventually will be get it deployed, get it config and deployed. The agent will managed by all of the resource, the agent and all of the package, they all managed by the cloud factory, and then to keep an eye and the monitor, and then you will distribute the work to the worker. If it's for some kind of unattended or complete automation process for this digital worker, and probably you will be one a Windows server, and either some kind of assistant mode, attendant mode, which side by side working together with the human worker. So we will get it deployed in the desktop in this case. And then for the developer to develop, we have in the IDE the desktop studio. So for the technology, for the UI technology, we support a web application. We support SAP GUI, SAP UI5, SAP UI Fiori. That's why we can using for by design. That's why we can using for, of course, browser access. Of course, for also for the web plan. And we also can support the Java and Windows Form application as well. And we're having the OCR. And then the later one I'm going to showing you mainly the web and with the SAP UI5. I don't touch the SAP GUI, and then Windows 32. And then other than that, we also having the workflow designer. So the workflow is you can capture you can define the application, and inside the one application you can having the multiple page. Okay, you login page, and then the home page, and create a sales order page, and then several page. And then the workflow is you can design an end-to-end process. For example, placing an order. Okay, you start by design. We start business one, and then you click the new sales order, and you open the new sales order form, and then you input customer and items information, and you click add. So which would be you can have a graphical designer, and then you can define the activity and so on and so forth. And we also can having the script. Eventually, by the way, and all of the underneath technology is based on the JavaScript. So why JavaScript? So JavaScript, and it's on the Node JavaScript, server-side JavaScript in this case. That's why one of the biggest reason why SAP choosing this product. Okay, JavaScript is popularity and so on and so forth. And once you have finished the design, the workflow, and you will be able to testing and step-by-step debugger, and then you can having the very debugger to replay it by yourself in this case. All right, and we are going to show more in the live demo later on. Okay, so and then for the Cloud Studio, which is for the zero coding in here, comparing with the Desktop Studio, we're having the script, and we can connect to any kind of a Windows 32 or SAP GUI application and so on and so forth. Well, the Cloud Studio, there are many not for the on-premise. Many focus on the cloud application, and then mainly focus on the workflow, which where you will need to have a human interaction and then to partially automate by the tool, and then work together with the human being in this case. All right. So, and as I mentioned, we have predefined, SAP have predefined quite a lot package, quite a lot of board content been available by the category and by line of business, by payroll or by finance and so on, and by industry as well, which you have been able to download and then to get it deployed. And by the way, if you already having the license for the SAP iRPA board, and then this content is free for you. Okay, and by the way, this content is only available for S/4HANA at the moment. There's no default content for by design or for business one at the moment as of now. But I think it will be good. It will be good for you to know what kind of use case. Yeah, you can as a what kind of use case you can using the board to doing that. I'm showing you a quick one later on. And then of course you also can retweet. You also can use it as is, or you can copy it. You can copy the project and then modify it to fit your needs, of course. In this case, and then you can download all of the file, all of the source code, all of the source file, or the design workflow, and as a package, and then in your acquisition in this case, and then you can log on to our partner store. I think let me show the first demo quickly for you. Okay, so as you can see, this is all of the scenario has been predefined by SAP. If you take one of, let's take one of the sales order, you can simply have a look what available has been. They're having the scenario like you automate the sales order creation from Excel, or you can having with the non-warehouse and so on and so forth, and upload the down payment and so on and so forth. You can filter by you can also filter by yourself as well, and you can buy the line of business if you would like to see how the what has been available for the human resource line of business, and create the sales inquiry and this so on and so forth, external executor. This is something, and then you can click one of them, and then you can come inside, and then you will see the check the detail, and then you can log on, and then you can acquire, and then you can download all of the content from the node in this case, and then you get it deployed in this case. And this one it's automated sales order creation from the Excel as well as from the Outlook in this case. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is not for by design, but actually, I would say it will be good as a reference what it can be done. You can explore in this case. Okay, let's coming back to the presentation. All right, so the Cloud Factory. So the Cloud Factory, as I said, it will be mainly using for the monitoring, which you can monitoring for the agent you're having, the drop, and then you're having the dashboard for how many job has been going, how many have been succeed, how many fail, and then you can check the TDL as well, and how many agent has been active or not. And the Cloud Factory it's a service running on the SAP Cloud Platform, and then this essentially manage all of the resource, all of the environment. So the package will define what to run, what kind of job, what kind of board, what task to automate, and then we have in the environment, we have in the hierarchy and so on and so forth. You may see that that when you play around with the Cloud Factory. So the environment, so the agent group is the where you are going to run, where you can run your job. Okay, and then when to run, you can define the trigger, and then you can define the trigger. You can define a trigger, and then you can put the things together as an environment, as a QA environment, as a production environment, and for HR payload functionality. Okay, you will be running a monthly on this group resource on this environment, and for the sales order every midnight every day, and then you are running on this sales order processing group in this case, which you can also orchestrate the resource, the agent resource you having, the package, and how it trigger, and how the system variable you want to pass through each of the individual job in this case. Yeah, and then for the RPA, you also can be work together with the SAP SAP Cloud Platform workflow, which this is coming into place. Some of the tasks can be automated by the human by the board, and some part need to have a human decision. For example, maybe there was need some kind of approval for the lead, whether it's a leave or not. It need to be approved by the human agent in this case. So this is how you can work together, work the piece together, and the human will see the inbox, see the universal inbox in the workflow, and they will focus on what they do every day in this case, and then the board will automate the rest in this case. And then the desktop agent, actually not just simply running the board, the holding the resource, and so you will be also been using for having many other function as well. You can create some kind of pop-up. We call it pop-up. You call additional UI, where you can input additional information. Let's say like the your username, password, or you can create some kind of things to passing the value into the board in this case. And then even you can create, you can have your own additional button on the UI in this case as well. We can run and then for the desktop agent, so we've been able to work together with the virtualization environment as well. There's no problem. We also have the connector which can be connected to the Citrix or remote desktop. In this case, on a server, with the native protocol, with the RTP or with the Citrix, protocol as well. Yeah, in this case. And then for the life cycle, once you haven't finished the develop the package, and then you can export. Of course, for the package you can we have in the SDK. So the SDK is on the JavaScript, is based on the JavaScript. So the SDK, they can cooperate with many library here, with the Word, with the Excel, spreadsheet, and with some kind of a task you can be using in this case. And then you're having everything has been compiled, and then having the compile your whole project and the scenario, and you will be generate the source code for you, and then your package as a zip, and then you can export the package as a zip, as a zip file, and then you can import it into the Cloud Factory. The Cloud Factory, where you can configure how to trigger and where to run, when to trigger and how to run the package in this case, and then you can having them monitor the status as well. And then once they've been triggered, eventually the Cloud Component, the Cloud Factory, in this case, you will be dispatch the task into the Cloud Agent. So in this case, though, you will require internet. Okay, so the question whether you have been should be running on the internet or not. In this case, we will need to having the internet because this is a Cloud Component. This is a on-premise. We won't dispatch, and we'll need to having the connection in this case. Okay, this is for the this resource group. They're running for the HR payroll. This resource group. Okay, you're running the sales order every night in this case, which has been able to. All right, so for the feature scope, I will not go to everything. I will later on. I will share the screenshot for you as well, and then you can have a look. You can have a look by your TTL. All right, so with that, I would like to go for the demo, and then I will do some Q&A. So now I'm going to open my Windows. Okay, so you open the. So this is the agent. This is the agent you have been keeping running. And what I'm opening here now is I'm opening a studio. Okay. So for the studio, let me quickly open one of the projects I have prepared for the demo. Okay, so there's a few of a concept for you to understand. So we're having different kind of perspective, like any kind of ID. We're having different kind of perspective. So the first one is the application, where you will declare how to recognize your app. Okay. So for example, let me take the by design for example. For by design, when okay, let me create a new app. Then now let me open the. So for the UI technology, as you can see, we can support a web. It doesn't matter SAP UI5 or any kind of a web technology in this case. And by we having the embedded support for the SAP UI5 because we are SAP you have both SAP UI products, so we have a native integration which will be recognize the SAP UI5 user control natively, and we can recognize the Windows Phone. That's what I can recognize the DDW in this case, and we having this one is for the mainframe, so it doesn't have nothing to do with us. SWG, this kind of Java UI we can recognize in this case. Okay, let me give a quick one. Let me open the okay, now let me open my by design. So in design first, when you're doing the first step is you'll need to declare your application, and then you will need to capture the page where you want to. So this is my by design tenant. All right, so now this is my by design tenant. So the first, so this is this is one of the application. Okay, the one application. How do I? You will need to define. Is it recognized? It will be recognized by the domain or by
Hello? Yatsea, I think we lost you. Can't hear you.
Yatsea,
Jacob, can you hear me now? I was get disconnected.
Now,
yeah,
now we
now
can.
yes.
Oh, okay. So when I was lost.
Yeah, the
When
login screen.
when you opened BYD login screen,
Oh, okay.
you
Okay.
said you will
That's right.
identify
Okay,
by the
I stopped.
domain. You said, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now let me going back to my okay, now I'm going to would like to have an ad application to recognize the business by design, and then okay, now I'm going to if you let's say I select web, so you'll be looking into the browser. I'm browsing. Why? How you can do that? Because I have when I doing the installation, we have a kind of extension for the browser. This case is the Chrome, and then this one will be recognize the page I having. Okay, so if I select this one, let's say this is my by design, yeah, 2, something like that, because I already have it by design. I don't have the same name in this case. And then I will say for the capture the window without capture the window. If you have a multiple, you're listing multiple. Okay. If you open another one, let's say if I open, and let me open a business one web client as well. No. Do it even another tab. Okay. All right. Now I have 2. One is for by design, and the other one is for my web client. So, and then I can capture it. Let me refresh. Oops. It's the page you will focus. Which page is your focus? Sorry. Which page your focus in this case? All right. Now I'm going to capture this by design. By design number 1, and then the first thing is you'll need to define the criteria to recognize this application. Okay, so for that, let's say the domain would be the let me stop first. The domain, double click. This is the data he has captured from the local page. All right, you'll capture the title, you'll capture the information we having, and then for the domain, if you let's say you're having QA tenant, you're having development tenant, okay, probably you shouldn't having the same the hardcore tenant. So in this case, you can have a pattern. All right, so path of the domain, you can say part of the domain is by design domain in this case, yeah. And then I'll say okay, and then probably the title, which will be unique identify your application. All right, for all of the by design, because they all having for all of the by design application tenant, they are always having this sapbydesign.com. Okay, part of the domain. It must be okay. So here we recognize this is by design application, and then this will be applicable for the whole all of the page now under this application. Now I'm going to capture the login page. So I'm seeing this is the login page. Okay, and then I will select and you also can having the to select to click and hooker. So this is something you can select, click and hooker. You see the rectangle. So this also you can choosing the maybe some part of the window you want to select. Okay, you see the rectangle has been get select in this case. All right. So anyway, so for us for the web it's much easy, but for Windows Phone we may having multiple things in this case. So now let me login page, login page. Okay, and then I think I should capture, and then I will say we are going to using the SAP UI5. We're going to using the SAP UI5. I think we'll need to. Okay, we're having the application, and then we have been able to, because this web application, and then because by design is based on the UI5, and then we can from the whole application we can say we're going to using the SAP UI5, and you also having the Bootstrap and then CPL as well. That's all code CRM. All right, and then with this one page, and then I need to teach them, and then I need to tell the system how to recognize this page, right? So like again the title, and again the URL, maybe not the full URL, but the part of the URL. So we know the login page most likely would be like this. If you are sure, let me just put part of, okay, put a part of the UI, part of the URL in this case, and then it will be recognize the page. When you see then from the red to green, means you've been able to recognize this page. All right, and then now we all need to tell the page, tell the RPA to the user control, and then because later on I need to automate to put the username, password, and then click the log on and the login. All right, so now the next one is we're going to recognize. As you can see, when I click the user control here, it highlight in the blue, So and then in the tree, in the subtree, as you can see, basically it's a div, but we are not using the div because inside we should focus for the data test. We need to have the user control. The tag is the input, not the div. Okay, this is something when you recognize the user control, you need to select the right sub control here, the right sub control here. Okay, especially for SAP UI5. And then now in this case we will and then we can tell the system I'm going to create a right click, and then I'm going to associate to the new item, and then I will give a name. So this one is a username, so I'm going to put our user name, username, and then I will tell the system how to recognize this one. I think the ID, sometimes ID will be good one, sometimes ID may not be the good one, so it depends. But ID, if you think the ID will be consistent, so it'll be static, and then it's good to use an ID in this case. Okay. All right. So and then I will need same. The blue one is haven't added yet. So again, when I focus on the password, I will need to make sure I'm in the, not in the div, but in the input. Okay, this is the and then I will right click. It's not respond to me. One right click. Which was my right click? Come on, baby. Okay. Create a new item. Now this one is coded password. Same, and then you will recognize immediately. You recognize it's SAP input user control. All right. So and then I will tell them we're going to using the ID to recognize. There was some advanced technique. I will not go to more detail. Later on, if you want to learn more about the techniques for the worker and then the mask XC and capture, so on and so forth, you can have a look on the Open SAP course. Later on, I will introduce that one for you. All right, so then later on, we will need to, sorry, let me close my Outlook first. Okay, so and then the next one is I'm going to after input the username password, I will need to interact. I need to click. I need to click the stimulate to click the button, right? So we'll, all right. So this one is the right one to right click, click the button, and then this one is the button log on. Okay, and then we will having the ID. I think the test depends because it depends on the language. So I would not using the test in this case, and then ID will be help me to unique identified in this case. All right, I save it, and then now I have in the first page, and then now let me capture the okay, now let's capture another page, but let's capture another page. So the second page now. Oops, what I'm doing. Now I'm typing by myself because I need to capture the. All right, so this would be the the home page, for my Launchpad. Okay, that's the second page, because this would be the main application, the main entry your triggered open the sales order or something like that. Okay, now what of the menu I've been created here, but because this is a very long menu, I'm not going to using the tool to find the right menu here, which will be the challenge for me. So what I've been done, okay, the demo I'm going to show you is I'm going to create a sales order. So before the create sales order, we need to open the new sales order form, right? So that's why I have put a tile for the new sales order in here, so I can easily to find it rather than to come here and then to tell the board, okay, you can find this one. It's because a very complex hierarchy, a menu hierarchy here to doing that. So that's for the very simple demo in this case. All right, and then now we're going to recognize the second page. So to declare the second page, we can right click the application and capture new page, and then again we'll just refresh, and then you'll see this one is the Launchpad. Okay, my Launchpad. Yeah, this is the entry point for my Launchpad. All right, so the first thing, every time when you declare a new page, you need to tell the system, tell the RPA how to recognize. So you need to set up the criteria. So same, let's say the criteria, the title will be the good one. And then also maybe the part of the domain, and then click update. If you think more make more sense, and then you put the URL as well. But for this case, I think you pretty much will be recognized. As you can see, you'll be recognized in this case. And then we will declare because later on in our workflow we will need to click this tile, and then you open a new sales order form in this case. So now let me find the right one. So this one would be the good one. So you need to choosing the right one. That's my one of my learning. So sometimes you need to go inside, and sometimes you need to find the right one. But I think if you go inside, no, not a good one, neither the good one, not a good one. So I'm pretty much sure the very good one, which I can unit identify, probably is this one. In this case, okay, let me associate to the new item. So this one is new sales order tile. Okay, you'll give a name new sales order type in this case. All right. So how many minutes I still have? So okay. I should be okay. Okay. Now let me stop here. Let me quickly the tile and I think the test or which would be. I'm not very sure the ID would be the unique one because I find ID may not be the unique one. The reason, if I find this one, you see the tile sometimes it will be different. From my last recording is 139, and from here it's 11. So that means it's a dynamic ID. So then in this case, ID will not be the appropriate criteria. So I'll remove it in this case. Okay, so since don't having a lot of time, okay, what I've been the first one is from the application tab. You define the application, and then you capture the application to how to recognize the application, and then you capture the page for the flow, for the business process flow. And then the second one is we'll need to define. We'll put a piece together, to log in, and then to click to enter the username, password, login, and then we'll click the new tile, and then to put the sales order in detail in this case. Okay, and for that, I will quickly create a workflow for my application. Okay, but we're having some kind of a reusable step as well. So basically, if any kind of step you think you can be reusable, you should put it into the global. So that's what I put the login blah blah in here, which you can be because login is a kind of a common scenario you can using for the create sales order, create purchase order, right? So that's what I put it global, right? So just very very simple one. I create a new workflow, and then this one is, let's say, so the one something, because I already have one. Okay, and then now Okay, now let me okay, the first thing, the first one, it should be now you see the activity. The first activity, okay, now I will do one end-to-end login and open the sales folder rather than to split into two steps just for the. So the first one, and the activity you're seeing here, the page you are seeing, that's the page I captured from the declaration perspective. And now we're going to define put the piece together for the activity, the workflow in this case. So the first step, will start, and then we should start. We go to start an application. We say we start. We will need to tell the system to start which one application. So we say we are start the application by design one, because I have another by design already. So if the business one, you start business one, the application you have defined. And then when I say business, SAP business one by design one, because you will know the URL, you're triggered by the URL strictly. And then I say wait for the starting to finish in this case. All right. So and then and then I start by design, and then you will open the login page. Okay. So the first one will be the login page. So for the login page, all right. So by the way, when you create every step, this one is a scenario, and then this is each step one, step two. The step one is start the application. So you can see the let's save everything, and then you will be able to see the source code. You basically in the background, it will generate a source code for you. Okay, I'll need to view first. Let me give me 1 second. And then for the login page, and then I'll need to define the activity. So for the activity now, we're gonna set the user ID, password, and then click the button. Okay, so that's 3 steps. So the first one is we'll right click and we'll set the value. So set the value, you have put the value, you will create some kind of a container, some kind of data field for that, where you can define the username in somewhere, okay? Or you can hard code, but for this case I wouldn't want it hard code. So this one will need to be dynamic passing into the here username. Okay, the second one is I'm going to enter the set the password. You will generate the data structure in the JSON format for us. And then the third step is going to click the item. When the username password has been input, and then the button will be activated, and then you can click. You can stimulate to click. Okay, so now let's have quickly, and then let's review. And then basically, if you look at the code, you also generate the coding in the background like this for you. So the coding let's review first. Let's review. So now I'm going to build. I'm going to do step by step. So as you can see, it's a node is based on the Node.js in this case. Okay, now you will see it. And now you generate the coding for that. That's the coding it has been generated for that. Okay, that's the coding. And then of course you can modify the coding by yourself. So okay, this is entity. So this is the entity. Now for the coding, I will for the coding of mine, this is the one has been created, and then now we can have put a step. Okay, we're going to put a debugging. We can put a debugging debugging in somewhere. Let's say in the start step. So by the way, when we start, we can. By default, you are using Internet Explorer. In the start step, where I'm going to set the browser as Chrome. Okay, because by default you will be otherwise be IE. I don't like IE in this case. So we can have a SAP by design dot navigator, and then you are having a set of a enum value for navigator. I'm choosing Chrome in this case. Say before you start, can open the Chrome for me instead of in this case. Yeah. So you can modify the code like this, and then for the username password, you will generate the data source, the general data source in the entity. So in the entity will be something like this, something like the root data, blah 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 blah, and you login data, username, password. So don't look in my login in password. Okay, so and then I will because I don't want to spend the time to prepare my data, so I will just using what I already have. So I will using my by design data, and then login data, and then the username I already have set into my. Of course, this one is also can be dynamic passing from the UI or from the configure file or whatever appropriate. SAP by design data, and then we log in, and then our password in this case. Yep, and then great, and then basically normally because the first login page you will take some time to load the page, so normally it will be good to where was my page? Okay, in the workflow, and then of course you can add a sleep. You can add some sleep. There was some sleep. You can add a sleep. Put a sleep. Say, just hold on a little bit. To freeze the execution a little bit. I say freeze for maybe for 5 seconds, because just make sure everything has been loaded properly. Yeah, and then you can have a look. If you save it, and then you see it sleep for 5 seconds, and then let's reboot, and then to have the code to the script file. If there was probably you have I should be hurry up a little bit, otherwise we don't have that much time. Okay, now let me close, and then now let me. If you find that the data is not no refresh, the code is not refreshed, mainly is because you have modified before, and then you will not be able to generate again. So that's because we modify properly again. So, and then before we close, before we end the step, so I think we should sleep. So here again, 5 seconds. So this is a millisecond. So 5,000 is 5 seconds in this case. All right. So okay, now we're good to go. So we can give a try. Okay, let's build again. And then when you build it, so you make sure there's no error warnings. Is fine. there's no error. If you have error, normally you will need to. Okay, now let's build it. Now have defined a very simple step just for the login. We need to do the step by step. Okay, now view has been finished and with 0 error and warning, and then now we can for debugging. Let me sure I'm not able to debug here. Otherwise, I should be able to set a breakpoint here because the consistent. Okay, now I launched the debugger. And then you launch the debugger, and then so this is something for you need to know, because you're already having the agent by default running. When you're debugging will stop. Will be run another agent, but just for debugging purpose. So for that case, you need to stop it first. So now let me stop my agent first. Okay. Okay, now we are able to start. Okay, now before let's close. Let's log out first because we don't want this page. Let's. Okay, now this is a debug panel for debug panel. Now, and then you can click on the script, the scenario, the workflow we have created orders by design, which would be now I click this one, and then you will see in the background what happening in the background. You're opening the tab and the page, and then you will it's recognized the thing. I think there was something. Okay. All right. So there was you already recognized. I think there was something. Maybe it's because I have in 2 applications, so you recognize my business by design rather than by design 1. So that's why it's now be able to. Okay, now another good thing is to showing you to show you. I think the reason is because remember in the designer we have 2 by design, so that's you're not able to point into this one, but you're pointing to this one. So that's why it didn't launch our page properly in this case. But anyway, so there's another tool. There's another good chance to showing you the debug tool here as well. So will be very useful. As you can see the tool, you will see the event, and then you can see the order details. You can right click and check the detail just for the for debugging, for troubleshooting will be very useful. You can show the details, and then we also have the tester. So the tester is very useful. Let's say especially when you can test whether how it has been walked through. So let's say I want to testing this user control, whether it has been recognized properly or not. I'll just right click, and then I will say I would like to insert code to the tester. In this case, it can be, say I can set the value for and then I can highlight this one, and then I click execute, and then you go back to the by design UI again, and then now you see you will set the value. So that means you recognize properly, it work properly. Okay, in this case, yeah. So for the time I don't have a lot of time to showing you this, I will show you the quick demo I have prepared. I prepared before. So like I have prepared the demo for by design login and open the sales order, and then I haven't finished to create the sales order yet. And the same for the web client. The same for the web client. In this case. Okay, now let me walk you through. I'll quickly play this one. So now let me going back to my screenshot, and then now let me stop the page. Now the first one I would like to showing you is to showing you the. Okay, now I run my by design. This is the one. What you've been doing is you will log in, and then you will click the tab. So now let me showing you a little bit about what I've been doing. So for this workflow, what you're doing. So as you can see, it's reusing the step. So the good thing is reusing, but keep in mind if you want to reusing any step, you will need to make the step available in the global. Okay, so that's what I make the login. I make the station and the login, and then I drag and drop here, and then I'm reusing this step rather than to redo everything from every step. Okay, because the login is a common step for every scenario, every process in this case. Start the B1 by this application, and then login. And after the login, you've been waiting for a few seconds. You've been sleeping for a few seconds because you're too fast, and then this page having loading, and then you are having some problem to recognize the page here. So that's something in between. If there are two pages, you need to have some time to load. You need to set some kind of sleep or wait until the page has been loaded. Okay, and then the next page is what you're doing is just click wait until this page has been exist, and then if it exists, and then you click. This is one of the techniques. Wait until, so simply right click, and then okay, and then you can have the advanced, and then you can having to put the event. You can set the value, get the value, not a problem. And then for us, for what I'm using the techniques here is I will wait until the page has been loading, until the item has been exist, and then I will simply do a click, and then you open the next page. So the next page, what you're doing, it will be open the sales order. So, oops. Another page. Okay, this one is open the sales order. So open the sales order. I haven't have a lot of time to finish the whole scenario, but I just to demonstrate you which you can recognize the field, and then you can input the value. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of TDO, a matter of time. In this case, and then you will enter the username and then the items in this case. Okay, now let me quickly to showing what it will look like. Very simple. Now let me going back, and then to launch. Now you see my mouse is, and then you launch the by design, and then you enter the username password, and then it's waiting for a few seconds. Now the page, now as you can see, it's very fast. You see, it's waiting for a few seconds, and then you open the page, and then we'll be try to input the value in this case. All right, so this is the by design. And then you may asking, how about the business one? So for the business one, partner, browser access, yeah, you can do. And for the demo, I'm showing the browser. I'm showing the.
So you're showing it via web client, is it, Yatsea?
Yeah, sorry.
You're showing it via web client, right?
Yeah, I'm showing the web client. Yeah, and then I was showing you why. I will explain why, and then I will show you another tool as well. Okay, now I'm showing the web client.
Actually, one question here. This will also work with browser access. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, it should work with browser access. Again, I mean, a web application is okay. Web application, any kind of web application, it should be work.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. Okay. That is one work. Okay, now I would like to show you the second script. Is for the so for the web client I have captured the page for login. That will be done another one because I have in different domain. One is for my login and another one is for my page. And then I capture the page for this one is for the home page, of my web client. And then I have identified the tab I want to open. Okay, and one is I will click to create sales order. The other one is I open the sales order. The other one is I'm going to click the sales order, and then I will search a specific or search a specific document, and then I'll select it, and then I will copy it to delivery or something. Just automate to copy the sales order delivery in this case. In this very simple one. Okay, so this is what I'm going to showing you. Okay, now all right. So instead of showing the login again, I don't have time to repeat the thing again. So I was showing you. I have defined a script. So the script has been done. What has been done is the workflow I have done is okay. So I didn't include the login in this step. So this is another one, some use case as I said. You having the human interaction together to work together. Okay, so already having the page have been open, and then what I've been doing in the first step is just click this sales orders tab, and then you will open the second page. You open the second page. For the sales order. So we will set the document number. So I hard code the field name here. Of course, this can be dynamic from the Excel or from whatever you can, because the coding, as you can see, the coding it can be passing from anywhere. The property you can be passing from outside. You can from Excel or whatever. I just would like to show you a very simple demo in this case. And you will set the document number, and then you will search, and then for the search result, you'll find the first one, and then you will check, and you will click the copy to in this case, very simple one. Okay, let's run it now. Let's run the script, and let's run the script here. As you can see, the page has been changed now. I think for some reason the event, when you tab it, okay, and then you should stop here because it find everything here. So And then when you search, the right one, it should be like this. And then you should be, okay, I haven't finished yet. So honestly, I haven't finished yet. So this is how you've been able to automate the process, copy the order to the delivery. Okay, it could be a list of order. You have an Excel sheet and then have a list of order you want to copy to, and then you can fill the bowl with document a number, and then you can. By the way, for the designer, we're having the flow. We can have the loop. Okay, now let me stop the debugging first. And then we can having the flow. We can have the loop. We can have the if, else, and this kind of advanced process control. Okay, you can repeat the loop, and you can, let's say, for each of the document number. Okay, for several number, and then you can loop it, or you can have an if, else to switch the output. Then there was a lot of activity. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to cover. And then we can call external web service. And we can call also the OData as well. We can call the HTTP OData. That means we can interact with the service. And then we can call the word, the library. We can write a word. We can using Excel sheet, and so on and so forth. And then you can write a file and so on and so forth, and then you can send the mail, Outlook, read the email, write the email, and send the email, attach the so on and so forth, which you can see all. Everything you see here, this can be without the coding. Of course, you can everything you see here, it's also can achieving by the coding as well. We're having the SDK, so the SDK have the SDK have the SCP SDK. We're having the SDK document, which you can have referring to in more detail. So I think as a developer, you should the first thing, of course, if you want to do, you can look at the details for the how you can interact with Outlook, and this is the API. You can coding. You can use the designer, graphic designer to doing that. Yeah, you can output. You can set a value, get the value, and you create a book shell. Oh, this one is the email. Sorry, get the tool and attach the email and send the email and so on and so forth. And then you can having the single cell one, and you have a Word. You have a Word, and then you can run the PowerScript. You can run the Windows script and the PowerScript and as well in this case, and then interact with JSON and XML. This is all you can do with SDK, which is I would say it's very powerful. All right, let's say for the restriction of the time, I need to hurry up a little bit. So now let's say we have finished the design, the workflow. No, I haven't. Just talking about the web client. I talk about by design. I explain why we not be able to work with the B1 desktop properly. The reason it's if I open one of the page, if I open the by design, I already business one I have been trying, and then we were having because one of the reason is for business one we're having. I recognize the whole page. Yeah, I recognize the whole page. And then for this page, and you're having the hierarchy, you're having the so on and so forth. And then the problem is you not be able to you will only recognize what the user control has been focused. Is not recognize the password because say the user ID is focused. So you only recognize you only recognize the user ID, and in this case doesn't recognize a password. All right, and it doesn't recognize the OK button here. So that's why I think as of now, I need to be honest with you. It will the SAP iRPA is not be able to recognize the SAP desktop application properly. So that's I need to be honest with you. for that reason, you want to be not recognize the field, the whole form. You see, remember when we using the web page and recognize this, all of this, and actually I also have now recognized the DDW. So DDW, you know, it's a Windows form application. So in this case, it recognize all of the user control properly, and then which you can interact, and then you can automate easily. Yeah. So for business one, because we have our own user interface wrapper, and then for some reason, as the current version is not be able to recognize the whole business one application, desktop application properly. So that's the reason I would say, if you are B1 customer, maybe you can think about the browser access, or you think about the webcam. If by design, yes, you can use the iRPA to automate the process. Maybe like the scenario, you upload the sales order from the Excel sheet, or from the email, from Outlook email, and so on and so forth. And then you can define your own Excel sheet format, right? Template by yourself, and then you just need to know, okay, from this field, this is the account ID, this field is the product ID, something like that, by yourself in this case. All right, so for okay, let's say we have finished the development. Now I'm going to have it deployed. This order, yeah.
Yatsea, sorry, Sridhar here. One question. If there is a case like the customer is using only B1 fat client, and if he is looking in for automation, if I understand correctly, like we can't use SAP's RPA. I'll have to look into some other tools like UiPath or Automation Anywhere or anything of that sort. Is my understanding right?
Yeah. Thank you for the reminder. I
just want to compare SAP's iRPA vis-a-vis UiPath, vis-a-vis Automation Anywhere or Blue.
No. Yeah, before we talk into the other tool, let's talking about our own tool first. And I'm not very sure. How many of you heard about? We have a tool we call it B1 TC, B1 Test Composer. So now let me showing you first. Let me show you what it look like. Okay, it's actually we have developed this tool a long time back, and then just for the test automation, but actually we didn't realize it also can be using for the RPA test, not just for the testing, but also for the data entry as well. Actually, some of the users have been using that as well. And this tool is available as free for you if you that is the okay. Let me go back to the presentation. I will later on send to you as well. If you just Google B1TC, and then you should be able to find a page, and then you can get a download. You can get a download. The latest version is for 9.0 at the moment, but it should be also applicable for. I'm not sure for the 10.0, but I'm using 9.3, so it's work for me at the moment. So you can get it download here, and then now let me show you the very quick demo. Basically, I think long time back, I have recorded video. Very lucky I record the video, and end-to-end automation. I start the business one, and then I create a sales order, and many sales order, and I close the business one. Which actually we can achieve the same tool. Of course, the output of a tool, there's the file. Let me show it to you. So we have the script. This is the script file. Let me. I think it would be better just showing you what I have. Tools B1TC. Okay. Now, as you can see, for one of the script, I have data file. So this is data. Let me show you in a second. Let me show you in a second as well. But so this is data. We have been capture for to create a sales order, and then the other one is the the other one is for the script. What you've been doing. Sorry, this one is for the press the menu and then which menu have been pressed is all based on the UI API. So that's why you've been recognized the business one perfectly. Okay, and then you can organize it as an end-to-end for the automation for the automation to process to auto creation and so on and so forth. You just need to prepare the data, prepare the script, and that's it. Let me quickly walk you through. I already record some of them. Let me run three. Let me run. Okay, now let me close this one first. Okay, let's say you can imagine, and this is something. Let's say you want to do it over the night and without unattended, without any kind of a human interaction. Okay, so the script here is basically what you'll be doing is start business one, and then you will enter the username, password, and they'll click OK. So this is the first step. Of course, you can have many steps. Let me show you the one by one. So now I run the script. My hands is let me run it, and then now you start business one. My mouse, I don't move in my mouse, and you enter the username, password, click OK. Yeah, now we are in the business one, and then you sleep for the 10 seconds because it will be one loading, will be able to take some second, some time. Yeah, the same we achieve. Yeah. All right, perfect. Now let me quickly showing you now. I'm going to record a new. I'm going to record a new script. I'm going to record a new script. All right. So to record a new script, just click the record button, and then click the sales order AR, and then click sales order, and open the form, and then you can of course you can enter the value here. C 20,000, and then click tab, and then you can pick the date, and then I'm going to choosing the list. Okay, I'm choosing 2. Okay, and then I enter the modify the number a little bit, and then I enter the value for the remarks. Now I stop. And as you can see, you have where's my script? Okay, now sorry. Let me repeat again. Okay, just I think I need to create a new script. Create a new script file, and then I click record. Okay, so now I'll record. Sorry, let me stop. And just be start the recording. Click sales order. C 20,000, and then I choose 2, and then okay, good. Now you record the script. I press the menu AR, and then of course you can also modify the value if you want, because this is from the, remember, from the data file, from the file I mentioned, from data file, from the data file I've mentioned here. And okay, I'm not going to change anything now. And then now let me replay it. Let me replay it. So before I replay, of course you can click from here. It's much better. Let me replay it. And then now hands off. Step by step, you open the sales folder, and then click tab, because I wait for it to be so. And then click add. Yeah, you see, this is the, as you can see, we can do the same thing to achieve the same thing for the B1 traditional client with this tool. So later on, I was showing you where can you find this tool, so just in case you would like to using this tool. And then if you would like to learn more, then I would recommend you to go through my my video list and end-to-end how to make an end-to-end scenario. Start business one, create a sales order, plenty of sales order, and close business one. So that's the scenario we can do. Yeah, for the business one. Of course, like you having the other option like Sridharan as mentioned, UiPath, or like the Automate one has been used by the BSG1 team as well. But I think you also can have a look at this tool, because this is natively built on top of the UI API. It's not a generic one, but it's built for dedicated for the business one. I think actually we should be able to using for the process automation as well, not just for the testing, but also for the process automation in this case. Internally, long time ago, we using internally for the test automation. We prepare the script, we prepare the data, and then we can schedule to run it in the Windows task from the script as well. It has a lot of function, but I don't want to go, because this session is about RPA, iRPA, not about the B1 TC. So, but this is some kind of topic, since a lot of people have been asking if we are if mainly the end customer they're using the B1 Fact Plan, what will be the option for you? B1 TC, you can think about maybe the other tool. I don't want to name it again. All right. So now let's go back to the iRPA. So we have finished the development, and then now I will let's say we want to get it deployed. So before we get it deployed, let's have a look at the let's have a look at our first. We will need to export the project. Just right click and then export a project, and then you will have zip file. We will have zip file. This one will be the one the version number 1 for upload. Okay. Then now I'm going to my cloud. I'm going to my cloud SAP Cloud Platform. So for those who haven't set up everything, so if you enter my Cloud Application Studio. For the setup, I will talk about later on. Okay. Now I will focus on the Cloud Factory component in this case. So I will show you where this Cloud Factory I can access. So okay, now I'm going to my sub account. Okay, so for those people who already done the pre-executive, you should remember you have done a subscription, and then you will have subscription and subscribed, and then you click go to app, and this will you'll be open the cloud factory, the cloud RPA factory. So in here, you can create a new project. You can create a project that is the this is the Cloud Studio. That is the Cloud Studio. So that's the Cloud Studio. As you can see, another designer, but you cannot coding. There's no coding here. You can find some user task. Like for example, you want to having the something Google related. Okay, I want to trigger the human interaction, let's say approval, something like that, and then you can define a task. You can define a task in this case. And then you can define the UI. You can define the UI. The UI would be and how you look. Okay, so you can having where's my UI? Okay, so you can have a title here, and then I didn't save it. And then you can you define the data type first. You can define the credential and username and password, and I wouldn't go that much. And you can put something, and then you can have a approval and then disapproval, something like that, which eventually you will be work together with the RPA. Some step has been automated by the RPA, and some step have been working triggered by the workflow. And in the workflow, and then you're showing this form to the user, and they can approve or they can reject in this case. All right, so that's how it works. I don't have time to go all the details in this case. Either way, for this one is also available for the client side studio, which is I didn't mention another tab for the pop-up. We call it pop-up. Actually, it's the form. It's the form we can design like what we're showing in this case. Yeah, it will work together with the SAP Cloud Platform workflow. The workflow. Yeah, we have a universal inbox, and then which you can trigger the alert, and then you can action, approve, or something like that. All right. So now I will not focus on this one. I'll focus on the now we have done the development. Now before we have been able to let's import a package first. It doesn't matter. Let's import a package. Just now we import a package. So the package I have put it. Okay, well importing. So you can see the agent. So that is the agent I want. Actually, when you finish the installation, you should have a REST agent illustration. Yeah. Basically, what you've been doing, it's register your agent to the cloud platform. So let me start my agent again. So when I start my agent, so you will see whether you've been connected to my. Basically, you connect to my. Okay, test iRPA for video design project. Yes, I will import it to my project. I will import it. All right. So now. Normally you should be the active. Instead of if you're seeing the not be able to find the agent in the hierarchy, there was something wrong between connection from my remote. It used to be active, but I don't know what's the here. Okay, now let me. So remember, this one is you will need to do the. What you need to do is. I'm not being through. Okay, this is something. Nevertheless, let me continue. Okay, so let's say assume we're having the active connected to my system. Oh, I know the reason, because I'm in the SAP corporate network, so that's why it blocked me. If I'm not in SAP corporate network, and then I'm not be able to open the. Okay, now let me stop my. The reason it doesn't work for me, it's because I'm in SAP network, so it blocked the connection for security reason for our IT. I need to stop my VPN first. If you are seeing the active status configuration and then your installation is done correctly, and then what I mean to say is now we having the importer package. Now you can schedule to run, you can trigger to run, and then you can trigger the trigger to run and something like that. You can have a trigger to run, but before trigger to run, you should have, let's say you can trigger to run, and you can schedule. You can see the environment. The environment is where I already have defined the environment. I have defined first. Let me clarify one by one. Okay. I have defined the resource. I have defined the resource, the groove, the agent groove. Let's say you have maybe it's up to you how do you organize in hierarchy. Maybe you can organize by the dev, QA, or product, or maybe you organize by the line of business for the finance line of business, or finance department, or for the sales department, or for the HR department, or something like that. It's up to you how do you organize. This is something how you organize your resource or be grouped together. So inside the dev, I have in two machine. I say assume this is not the real one. I just showing you to concept. I have in two, maybe having 20 or 50 or 100 something in the machine, which you can be using for the massive of processing in this case. All right. So now and then environment. It's well, you can create an environment. The environment will be including put the piece together. The agent, you can define the agent you want. Which agent can be part of this environment, and then some kind of variable. Variable is something you want to passing the variable will be reused by the multiple step or multiple scenario in this case. And which package, which one you want to run? Okay, let's say we want to run the release one. Let's say we want the. Oh no, let me. I need to select the right one. I need to select this one. And then I having agent this one, and then now let me select the package. I haven't deployed it, so no, I haven't deployed it, so that's just the. No, because I haven't deployed yet. Oh no, sorry, I didn't add package. Silly me. Yeah, I haven't deployed yet. So, yeah, but before I deploy, I need to go back. I need to tell you how been the piece fit together. So, and then this is the trigger, which you can define add a trigger as well. Environment will be the proper one. If you just run once, and then you don't have to use an environment, and then you can schedule to run straight away. But for the live, for the production, of course, you should define your agent groove. You should define a variable environment, and then you can relocate the workflow. Right, this is for the round of HR payroll. This one is for the order processing and something like that. Okay, now let me going back, and then now let's say I have defined one agent this is my agent. It has been disconnected for some reason, because as I said, is my SAP corporate network stopped me connecting. So now let's go back to the package. Now I'm going to need to create a deployed. I need to release. And then now I can release means I've been get it deployed, and then I can add the trigger. But I will recommend to add the trigger from the environment, as I told you, as I said, you should do that from here, from the package. We'll add the package. We haven't deployed it, so we'll need to deploy first. Deploy to the agent. So let's create. We have to the. Okay, I'll select this environment, and then I'll get it deployed. I'll deploy it. Let's say I deploy it into the schedule mode, or you also can be triggered by the API as well. Like say this is unattended mode. Okay, now, and then I can say this is the production. Let's say this is the order processing. Order processing production, and then it will be execute the create the sales or copy the sales order from by design, and then you specified. Let's say every you can define them from midnight. Let's say from midnight to 6 p.m. Okay, you can run every 5 minutes, and then you can define the schedule in this case. Yeah. Okay, the schedule for the whole week. So this is the resource. You can design the time. Okay, this is the time you can use this resource agent to run this job. Okay, and then you can create, and then you will be running in next 5 minutes. Okay, let me put it. Okay, let me put it in 5 minutes. And then it has been triggered.
Sorry to interrupt. Yatsea, how long more would you take? Just a quick check.
I think I'm done. I think I pretty much done, and then we will start with the. Okay, if I'm waiting for I need maybe 10 more minutes or 10 more minutes, and then I just last step, and then we will going back.
Okay.
In this case, yeah.
Okay, sure.
All right. So this is how you've been deployed, how you've been get it deployed into the package. Then last but not least, and then you can monitor the job and how many been successful for the day, how many fail for the day, last days, and then for if you're by design, if you're S4HANA, so you can get it deployed. You can deploy them from the store straight away. In this case, yeah. So that's for the demo. If from end to end, from what we've been design the board and test the board, and then to package the board and deploy the board and schedule run the board as an end-to-end process. As you can see, the SAP iRPA, it will be think about all of the scenario, unattended scenario, working side by side as an assistant, working as a worker or something like that. It has been all of this. I've been thinking about it. All right. So the next one is for the jump started. I think this part we have done as a prerequisite. So the only thing I want to highlight, basically these two blog and video, they're very good, but pay attention to the other people having some people having the issue to to find the instance from the marketplace, something like that, is because before you running the blog, run the video to do the installation for the cloud factory, you should add both trial and standard service plan for the iRPA to your Cloud Foundry account. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, and then you need to follow step by step above. Before you follow the blog, I think the blog is this blog is very good. You will cover the end-to-end process here with a screenshot. But the only thing I want to highlight here, the version is using a lower version. It doesn't matter, but it's still applicable. Before you running this blog, before you have been able to subscribe and create an instance, the only thing I want to add is, as I said, you will need to go to the entitlement. You will going to the entitlement, and then you will need to add you need to click the configure entitlement and then add the service plan. So the service plan, we need both. Let's say if I search the RPA, sorry, I searched the intelligent robotics. Okay, you see the two both. You need to check. You need to add the service plan. Okay, and then other than that, once you've done that, and then you'll be able to see the subscription. If you do not add the standard, the subscription is available by the trial. This is subscription, and another one is you need to go to the space. Go to the space, and then service marketplace, and then you need to create the instance, right? If you do not add the standard, you'll not be able to see the in this case. Yeah. So iRPA trial, and then you'll need to create the instance, and then you'll create the secret key, service key. So which has been step by step from here. And then when you download the tool, you can download not download this version, but download as the version I highlight, the latest version for the trial. So the version I recommend. I see some people have been downloading the old version, but that's not a problem. But I just would like to having everyone using the latest feature there. All right, so at the end, and you should be able to see two versions. So this is the desktop, the studio, and the agent. You need to download and install. Okay, you follow the documentation. I don't have time to cover a single detail, but you having the documentation to do it, and then we also have the video. Show the video as well. All right, so once you've done that, if you would like to do, today my expectation is very simple. I cannot teach you all of a single tool because this tool is a very complicated tool, and then basically we having the standard OpenSAP course and the workshop to cover for the whole week and to cover the whole scenario. And then for the next step, if you have done the installation and have done configuration, and then you can check out the OpenSAP course. And then you can specifically, I think you can check out the course for the week 2, 3, 4. Week 1 is more about the instruction. I think for the day session, I think you get most of the idea. Week 2, week 4, you can get started to learn more. And then for the hands-on, if you are a by design partner, you have by design tenant, you can try to do the same thing like what I've been doing. You can add the by design application and login page and create the sales order. It's just a matter of time. And then if you having a web client, you can do web client. If you want to play with the traditional B1, and then you can use B1 TC. Okay. For anything else, you can try. If you want to play around the SAP UI5, and then you can try the week 4 unit 2 in the OpenSAP course in here to get started. All right, and then last but not least, here is all of documentation that what I have. Like I recommend you to go through this how to build bot. This is something for developer, which you can get started. Okay, so with that, I would like to stop. I see maybe there's some question.
Yes, yeah, I think we will take the questions at the end. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when we summarize. Okay. I think the next part we will actually move on to the quizzes and the lucky spin. Then we will actually take the questions at the end. So feel free to write your questions down meantime. Yeah. Okay, Sridharan, would you like to?
Yeah, I am sharing my screen, Jacob. Do you see it?
Okay, so while Sridharan's screen is being loaded, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Yatsea, for the comprehensive RPA topic deep dive into it. It's really very heavy. So I'll take some time to learn about it. I think for those who are new to RPA, I think it's a new tool, but it opens up like a wide array of tasks and activities that you can do. So the use case is really endless. Yeah, I would say.
Yep, we know the leaders. So Saltius, GDS, and Innova. Vocal congratulations and congratulations to Jeng and the Saltius team. Good. Let's quickly review the questions with Yatsea. Yatsea, over to you.
Yeah. So first question, which following the criteria? So we have been yeah. So basically, high volume, many repetitive, and then kind of multiple system. Yeah. So of course, this is all above. Yeah. And what mode has been supported by the SAP iRPA? So it support to identity mode, unidentified mode. So that's C. We will get it right. And for the components, so for the component we have 3 components. So Cloud Factory, Desktop Studio, and Agent. So it's all above. What chemical connected has been supported by SAP iRPA. So we have in web application, Windows Phone, and Java application. Yes, yeah, good. And then which will be able to recognize recognize properly. So yeah, B1 web client and the works DDW and then by design, yes, all that, yeah. And then what are the 4 statements about the design the board? 2 has been correct answers. So the 4th statement, sorry, is a 4th statement, not the right statement. I think most people will get confusing by the 4th statement. So the 4th statement is we can custom the code. As you can see, I saw the script. You can add in the code and you can buy with SDK. And then when we're debugging, we will need to stop the agent. So that's the C and D. And for the other 2, yes, we need to capture the page and then make sure the page has been recognized properly from the application perspective. And then we need to design a workflow from the workflow perspective. Yeah, that's right. Next. And which following scenario could be automated? I think the thing is the B1 application was the exception. So that's why the C is not the right one. So the rest is the right one. So you can use Excel, Outlook, whatever there. So okay, this is for the.
Yeah, this is from the BSG funds presentation.
Yeah, they're using Automate Want. Yeah.
Jacob, you want to pick this, Jacob?
Yep. So the RPA manager is being used for controlling and monitoring the RPA agents. Yeah, it's very similar to the iRPA agent. So what are some of the business metrics? So for those who have followed in their value prop deck, right? So it's actually the three of them. Increase work efficiency, and then also the satisfaction for the employees, or rather the users, and also to reduce costs and also potential human errors, right?
Good.
Okay.
So that's it. 10 questions. Thanks. I think the accuracy level has been pretty decent. I think we were around what, 58%. Good. So thanks to all the participants who participated, and congratulations to the winners. Let's get into the next interesting piece, like the wheel of spin, what we call. I have put in all the partners' names here, and let's start the spin here. Wow, it's going to be. Oh, good. Jacob, it is PTS Systems and Solutions. Where are they from?
I have no idea.
Do we have somebody can identify PTS system? Where are you guys from? Which country? I think it should be either Singapore or Malaysia, or
Yeah, I think it's maybe no really sure.
okay. Cool.
Anyway, congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah. You are lucky today.
Now, what would be great, right, is to take a break now. If you have any questions regards to Yatsea's comprehensive RPA session earlier on, please also, you may stay on the line and also to ask your questions through the mic or through a chat. Okay, so before you go for a break, please, your feedback actually matters. Please actually help us to rate our session so that we can improve, and also suggest on topics and comments, especially in the open feedback question. Just make sure you enter SME Tech Hangout over here in this feedback form. Then we will continue, as mentioned earlier on, the code camp, right? So we'll be online to the next 90 minutes.
So what do you want to do then? So make sure you have get the installation, get the configuration has been done, and then making sure it has been subscribed, and then follow the blog. Follow the blog there, and then make sure you have, before you follow the blog, as I say, you need to add the entitlement, and then you need to have a Windows desktop. Before you install the on-premise component, you need to have in the Google Chrome or IE or something, and then you need to have .NET framework, and then this is all of the and then another tool is remote tool for Visual Studio. This is for the remote debugging, and then the KDIF is for the merge, for the source code compare and merge, and we also need this one, the tool to download for, and then for the rest, and then you just need to download, follow the blog, and then to get it installed and set up and config, and then once everything has been done, and then if you want to learn more, and then you can have a look at this OpenSAP course to do. And for the hands-on, if you are having B1 by design, if you are by design partner, so you can try using iRPA to create a sales order, to automate the order creation with the SAP iRPA for the end-to-end process. And if you have a web client, then you can try web client, or you have a browser access, you can try browser access. And for those people who is interested in the B1TC, and then you can download it from the link, and then also can check out the playlist and how to record and how to play it. And for the rest, and then you can have a look at the week 4 unit 2, and then to play it around. As I say, this one for the standard training, we have kind of a few days, at least 3 days or 5 days training. So I cannot teach you the detail. For the days, I give an overview, and you got to understand what it can be achieved, and then what it can do, and in high level, and then you can jump started to get started, to get a hand study on that, and then to learn by doing. In this case, so for the we don't want to set the let's say the mini hackathon would be finished in 2 hours, because I don't think you can do a lot of things in 2 hours. I have to be honest with you, I have spent quite some week for this topic, and then I'll be able to do something, the presentation next day. So you may because if let's say for give you or maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, and if you've been able to achieve the task, and then you'll be able to record a video as you have been for your achievement, I think that'd be great, and that's what we've been looking for. Unlike the first session, which the first session is kind of API, and then you can very easy to consume it. But this one is a tool, is a complex end-to-end solution tool here. Even take some time for learning.
Maybe Jacob, after the break, we would try to help partners to set up their environment right. That is the cloud platform account and other steps. So that will be the starting. But as what Yatsea said, it will be difficult for them to do it in next 2 or 3 years. Probably we'll give them a week's time to complete this code cap. Is that okay, Jacob?
Yep, I think makes sense. To be honest, it's really a lot of things to digest. Yep. So I mean, the next steps, right, is to really, as per what Yatsea said, then we will schedule another session in 2 weeks' time. So I think at the end also is to record a demo video of what you have done. So the next 90 minutes will be still around if, let's say, you face with any issue setting up. I think setting up also is there are some steps to follow. So we'll still be around. But for those who have already installed and successfully set it up, you probably can go through the hands-on, like try it out and see if you face with any issues. Yeah.